Welcome back to Frequently Asked Questions about Natural Migraine Relief for Women. This is episode 3, where we're going to discuss using genomic tests like 23andme to learn more about your methylation genetics and their role in migraine. Jeff Baker here again as your physician host for this channel, FAQs about natural migraine relief. Today I'm going to discuss how you can use genomic tests like 23andme to learn about how you handle B vitamin methylation, which can be a root cause factor for migraine headaches. This is a slightly longer post, but I think it'll be worth your time if you have migraines, a positive family history of migraines, heart disease or stroke, or if you've already done genetic testing and would like to know more about what it means. In my course, Natural Migraine Relief, we discuss in detail the role that methylation genetics plays in migraines as well as other disease processes. The ability to activate key B vitamins into their methylated versions is critical in hundreds of chemical reactions in the body, especially those involving neurochemistry, inflammation, and vascular health. Underpowered methylation can result in a cascade of problems, especially the promotion of inflammation, which can be a key root cause factor in migraines. The gene that codes for this function is called the MTHFR group. Its two most important variants are the C677T and A1298C groups, with the former being more common than the latter. About 30 to 40% of the American population has a variant in the C677T gene position, which has been associated with up to an 80% reduction in the enzyme's efficiency. The reduction of this enzyme efficiency has been found to lead to increased levels of the protein homocysteine, which in turn can correlate with downstream mayhem of all sorts. The reduction of methylation efficiency can result in a higher risk of depression, birth defects, hypertension, endothelial inflammation, migraines, reproductive cancers, venous thrombosis, and also heart disease or stroke. If you have a variant for this genetic pattern, this is quite a convincing list, motivating us to find and manage the root cause. Finding out what your genes say about how chemical reactions should work is called your genotype. Finding out what they actually do in real life is called your phenotype. Understanding the genotype, as with the test we're about ready to discuss, can be helpful to understand one's general risk with a methylation deficit. If you have a genetic variant in your MTHFR, it's essential to obtain a blood test for homocysteine, which is the phenotypic and real-life how does methylation actually work for you, reflection of how a deficit in this gene expression could be a root cause factor for migraines and other health problems. Did you know that the major genetic testing companies evaluate a lot more than they are allowed to tell you? You have technical and legal access to your raw genetic data, but at times you have to look under the hood to find it. I'm going to review how to find information on methylation genetics using 23andme as an example. With some of these sites, you will also get a broad range of other gene interpretation results as well, and you can do the same thing in a similar manner with data from other genomic companies like Ancestry.com or MyHeritage.com. The attorneys at the 23andme site offer the following disclaimer. The data from 23andme's Browse Raw Data feature is suitable only for informational use and not for medical, diagnostic, or other use. We advise that you consult with a healthcare professional before making any major lifestyle changes. So please keep that general disclaimer in mind as we work through this. So to get started at 23andme, number one, you go to the site and click on your profile in the upper right corner. Go down this section and click on the Browse Raw Data tab. Number 2, on the Browse Raw Data page, click Download in the upper center of the page, which opens the page for Download Raw Data. Number 3, you need to read through the disclaimer section, and if you agree, click the box saying, I understand the limitations and risks associated with uploading my information to third-party sites, and go ahead to submit the request. And number 4, 23andme will send a link to the email associated with your 23andme account. Click through the Download Raw Data button found on this page and again on the following page. Next, for number 5, you click the downloaded genome yourname.zip or similar file in the lower left of your browser window. It'll be about 8,000 kilobytes in size. Step 6, when you click to open that download, it'll show about 20 pages of what looks like alphabet soup. On a PC, it opens in Notepad. Save this as a file or cut and paste it and go on to the next step. And lastly, number 7, you go to the genetic interpretation site of your choice. See our discussion below. Generally, they will ask you to download the zip file in its entirety. If you're not sure where the zip file is, look in your computer's Downloads section. Some gene interpretation sites to consider include geneticgenie.com. This uses 23andme data and is free, although a donation of $10 is requested, and the site is relatively straightforward to use. It looks at 26 genes that affect methylation, including the 2 key gene sets I previously discussed. On the report, a green highlighting means 2 good genes, yellow means you have 1 variant, and red would be concerning as you'd be missing 2 variants. The example on the next slide shows 1 missing variant in these 2 gene sets, which means that this individual, which is actually me, should have their homocysteine level checked. I did have my level checked and it was up some, but it's well corrected with several simple measures. This screenshot from Genetic Genie is a bit fuzzy in this format, but you can see how the variants for these 2 key MTHFR subsets are color-coded. You can see that there are additional related gene sets one can research further, but we will not be reviewing them here. Two other gene interpretation sites to consider would be xcode.life. This site has about 20 different interpretation modules, with the methylation module costing $20 and the premium version with some 12 major reports for $149. And I found that these are very user-friendly to interpret. The other is called promethease.com, and they'll give you a methylation report for $12. And I have no doubt there are some other similar sites offering comparable services. Now, how to follow through with your phenotype. If the site of your choice reports that you have MTHFR genotype variants, it means that you have a probable B vitamin methylation shortfall. If that's the case, it's imperative that you get a blood test for your homocysteine level. Any local medical lab can do this with a physician's requisition. You can also get it done direct to consumer through lifeextension.com. If you go to their site for $54, at least in August of 23, they mail you a requisition to have it drawn at a local LabCorp, and they have a locator site on that page. Life Extension then sends you the results directly. Now, many labs will tell you that a level up to 15 is normal, but that's not true. Acceptable levels should be less than 10 to 12, with a level of 7 to 8 being more protective. You can also talk with a Life Extension staff member about your result on their helpline. There are several specific non-drug nutritional and dietary measures that can safely and effectively reduce homocysteine levels and limit the role of this version of genetic potential in the expression of migraine headaches, as well as the companion long-term concerns about vascular disease, like hypertension, heart attack, and stroke. To learn more about how methylation dysregulation promotes underlying inflammation that promotes a migraine, and for more migraine-specific results and advice, take a look at my online course, Natural Migraine Relief, at naturalmigrainerelief.online. There we will examine in detail 10 major root cause factors for migraine headaches and use my migraine action plan tool, which is unique to this course, to self-individualize which of over 60 specific health factors and more than 90 potential interventions that we review may be the most applicable to managing your migraine story. If you would like to hear more about natural migraine relief for women, make sure to follow this Substack site or YouTube channel and recommend us to your friends.